Hey everyone, it's Maribel Blue with a new Pathetically Unfiltered. If you are new here, welcome to this channel. Please take a moment and consider subscribing. And if you are not new, welcome back. It's Saturday, June 27th. I have a lot to cover. I am going to be recording all day today. Plus, I have a premiere. So in between, I'm going to pause and join that chat room. And if you are not new, welcome back. As I said before, we do have a lot to cover. The first video I'm going to be doing a reaction, and probably this is going to be the only video for this segment, is Don Lemon interviewing Ashley St. Clair. Now, I have covered Miss Ashley St. Clair, and I can see it gains a lot of views, but also a lot of hate in between. I don't know if it's because she betrayed the Magas. I have no idea what that is. Basically, calling out the Magas for the grifters that they are, according to her words and things that she has experienced. I do want to say this. While I appreciate Ashley coming forward and being honest about her journey in the MAGA movement or the MAGA grift. I can't even call it a movement because honestly, it's a whole entire cult. It is a very serious issue. There are people who actually believe that Donald Trump is some kind of God when he's not. And you have a lot of people right now who are waking up and smelling the coffee and realize they have been scammed in some form or another. They believed Donald Trump actually cared about them. And every day we see when he talks about how he doesn't care about affordability, or when he's made the comment about how he loves inflation. I don't know anybody who does. And anybody who is on a panel discussion on TikTok trying to make reasoning and excuses for this is just absolutely insane. I was on Conversational Corners live last night, and this young black guy came on the panel talking about the black people are the ones who are perpetuating racism, and we need to stop attacking the white people. I think I've heard it all from this point. To create this ruse that black people are the ones who created the system of racism. Look up the word racism, my dog, because you don't know what you're talking about. And these are the people they are trying to reach out to convince them that white supremacy isn't real and we are supposed to have some kind of compassion for white people. And I'm not saying we shouldn't have compassion for white people. We should have compassion for people. In general, we should be compassionate to the person who is hungry to feed them. We should be compassionate to the person who may have gotten hurt in a car accident, or a senior citizen who is no longer in a position to take care of themselves. We should have compassion for these people. And for anyone to believe otherwise, there's something wrong with you. Needless to say, I'm going to go ahead and play clips of Ashley St. Clair's interview with Don Lemon. I like the approach Don Lemon took because he's not, oh, you're my hero. I'm seeing a lot of comments on her TikTok feed. And, you know, people are like, oh, you're my hero. You're this, you're that. See, we're falling in again to the guise of when somebody comes out of a cult, there's suddenly some form of hero. I'm going to play the race card here. If Ashley St. Clair was a black woman who had turned to MAGA and now is coming out of it, would she also be regarded as a hero? Or is that only saved for white people? I hate doing that, but this is the reality that we live in with a lot of people. People do not want to learn still. They are taking everything at face value. Now, I'm not saying that Ashley St. Clair is a liar. Clearly, she did these things because she had a child and she was finding ways to take care of that child. And this is where the problem lies, where people are in this position where they need to take care of their children or they need to keep a roof over their head. What or how far will someone go to get that money in their hands to feel safe and secure?
So this was a way, people would call it, for for you to be a MAGA person, this is a come up, right? It's the shortest line to the front for someone like you, for someone so young, right? That it was a grift. What do you say to that?
Sort of. It's not really a grift when there's, like, you believe that a lot of the things that you're saying. And what is a grift? I mean, what would your definition of a grift be?
Of someone who's just who doesn't believe in what they're saying, but they're using it for either political or professional or economic expedience.
I think in some ways, sure, because there were moments that I felt incredibly disconnected from MAGA and from the movement, but I had a baby I had to take care of. I had, a roof I needed to put over my head and diapers I had to buy, which I always say is not an excuse for being involved in it, but rather trying to give people a reason why it's difficult for some people to leave. Because doing the right thing at that time meant that I couldn't feed my son.
Yeah.
So
when I asked you, people will say why, and then they'll wonder if this is a grift, if this is a sort of.
Did you pay me to be here?
No, I don't pay for interviews.
No, nobody does.
Yeah.
People don't pay for interviews. And I'm on my way. Last semester I did 22 credits. I'm in 3 different courts and I did 22 credits, crushed it, and now I'm on my way to law school. And that's what I want to do. And I'm telling my story in the process and hoping that I can help people and speak to some of the people who are still in that. But this is not a grift.
I'm sorry.
This would be an incredible grift for me to put my life on the line to talk about these things. I've sacrificed far more than I can ever make from this. Like, we are in danger speaking out. I turned down $40 million. I feel like I am the only bitch in the world who can turn down $40 million and still be called a grifter or a gold digger. Like, how much money do they want me to turn down? How many sacrifices do they want me to make before it's not called a grift?
And I just want to add here how important Don Lemon is carrying this interview. I think that Don Lemon's approach in how he's handling this interview is not in a sense where he is, oh my God, look, it's Ashley St. Clair. Welcome, a friend to the show. No, we're not going through that. And I think it's important to understand how we are addressing and asking questions to a cult that she was a part of, why she did what she did, and what restitution is she making. Yes, it's sad that her life is in danger. She's being watched or threatened. I can only imagine the SPS men who have reached out to her and saying horrible things. If you look at my Substack, I did cover a 60 Minutes Australia story that she was part of that interview of things that Grok allegedly was putting out there with her images. There's a lot here to unpack. It's not just a matter of she was out here grifting and spreading misinformation. It's way more than that. And I think with anybody, not just with Ashley St. Clair, with anyone who's making claims, who is situating themselves or transitioning themselves into, hey, I was doing this and it's a big grift and now I'm moving on to something better because I couldn't be dishonest anymore. This is a big deal and you have to take everything with a grain of salt. When people in the comments are like, you're my hero, you need to self-check and stop looking at other people like you're my hero. I tell people I just recently made 35 years clean and sober. I don't want to be anybody's hero. I'm glad, I'm proud of myself that I've come this far. It is a work in progress, always. But I don't want to be anybody's hero. And I'm being serious about that. Because what happens with heroes, their flaws come out, whatever that may be, and you're going to be disappointed.
I'm sorry goes a long way. Do you feel like you've said I'm sorry properly and enough?
I've said it properly. I don't think I'll ever be able to say it enough, but I do want to transition from, saying sorry all the time to now trying to make amends. So I put a call out on my TikTok today for brands who want to collaborate, and the profits go to something like the Trevor Project or other groups that my rhetoric contributed harm to. Because I can say sorry all day and night, but I'd like to be able to use my platform to make financial amends for the harm that I contributed to. And I also, I think there's also this phenomenon of I'm, for many people, going to be the most accessible figure from MAGA that they're ever going to come in contact with. And so a lot of that frustration is probably going to be taken out on me. And that's okay. Like, if that's what they need me to be, that's okay. And I'm just accepting of however people want to react to me.
How do you're not anti-LGBTQ?
No.
You've had some really horrible things and feelings about transgender people. How does that just change overnight, or did you believe that stuff? Like, where does that come from?
I think it's framed from, my particular issue that I spoke a lot about was in regard to trans youth. And it's framed in this way that, oh, you're protecting children, you're protecting women and children. And then the more I interacted with actual trans people or actual people who, had trans children, it changes. I also worked a lot with Libs of TikTok, Haya Rashek, and I would see her motivation towards virality and engagement and the way that she was treating some of these individuals. And I'm like begging her not to dox children. And it just caused me to reconsider. And I hadn't been exposed to a lot of that. And I am deeply regretful for the harm that I contributed to in that regard. And I'm trying to do the best I can to understand that now and take back what I can. I know I'll never be able to put the pieces all back together, but trying to understand what I didn't want to.
Before we continue, so Ashley said a lot in that little bit. And of course, I started making notes here. The difference between saying sorry and making amends. The 12 steps, the 9th step talks about making amends wherever possible. Making amends is not going up to a person and saying, yo, man, I was in a really bad place and I'm sorry I fucked up. No, that's you owning up, saying you're sorry. What is making amends? Let's say you stole from that person. You stole money. How do you make restitution? If that person is alive, you give them back their money, okay? What if the person wants nothing to do with you? How do you still make restitution so you have a clear conscience? Maybe that person was involved in some kind of a charity. You can donate to that type of charity. This is the reason why we get sponsors, because when we are stuck in how do I make restitution in harm that I may have caused? How do I correct that? You correct it by talking with your sponsor and finding ways on how you can correct that behavior, whether it's giving back financially, whether it's maybe volunteering in a soup kitchen, whatever that may be. You see, Ashley said she could say she's sorry all she wants. And that's all well and good. But at the end of the day, how long do you think sorry is going to cover it? It's not. You see, because in the land of recovery, action is what makes the change. So that people can see, okay, they're being for real. They really do want to change. Look at the restitution that they made. Now, that's not always 100% guarantee either. There are people who will do it as a ruse, but then still go back and be the old person they know and love because they're used to that insane behavior, because they believe insanity is still making the same mistakes and expecting different results. There are people who believe that. And this is the reason why Trump supporters stay in the place where they're at, because I really believe they think if they leave the cult, they're going to miss the moment that they've been waiting for, which is never going to happen. Trump is not going to care about your rent, your housing, how you're going to pay for food. He does not care about that. I said when he came back this second time around, when he said he was running, I said this man found some kind of a loophole And now he's going to surround himself with people who are going to help him enrich himself. And here we are in 2026. This man has made billions of dollars. Everyone is talking about the reflecting pool. It's been a hot topic. Maybe the reflecting pool is a way to divert from whatever it is that's going on. Maybe he created the problem with the reflecting pool, which there was no problem in the first place, just so that he could do something else. We will never know. We just won't. When Ashley talked about the transgender, let's move on to that. And talking about this woman with the libs of TikTok and wanting to dox children. This is dangerous. It's dangerous when you have a grown ass woman who is running this shit. I'm not talking about Ashley St. Clair. I'm talking about whoever this libs. I can't remember her name right now. It's not important. She's not important. To directly harm children because they are not living according to your standards. There is something wrong with you. Nobody should be in charge of someone else's child and how they raise that child unless they are directly inflicting harm on a child. There is no reason why anyone should intervene. We have gotten too much involved in other people's business, and we can thank all of social media for that because people don't know how to shut the fuck up.
Where did the epiphany come from? Did it happen all of a sudden? Because things are like, you know, this slow. This is how things usually happen.
Yeah.
This slow, drip, and then all of a sudden.
That's how it was.
Okay,
It was like cumulatively and then all at once because there were so many moments that I saw things or I didn't have the courage or I'd have like almost like these handlers within Maga who would come to me when I would step out of line a little bit and be like, you sound like CNN right now. You know, don't, they would come to me, very large figures in the Maga movement and say, you know, change your opinion on this, anything from the trans issue to George Floyd to whatever it was. And I still have those texts.
That's a fucking cult. Mm-hmm. That's mind control.
And they would right away, they'd be like, did you look at the autopsy report for George Floyd? And they would, because when, for instance, when the George Floyd situation happened, I came out against that. I was like, this is awful. This is horrible. This is police brutality. And right away, a very high up MAGA figure comes. He's like, read the autopsy report. You sound like CNN. What are you doing? And so there were these moments that I would think for myself and then I'd be conditioned not to.
I believe people when their actions meet their words. And I believe you if you are, especially in this political environment, if you're on the right side, right? With Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Not the right side.
Well, the left
I'm not
side.
on the right
I shouldn't
side.
say on the left side because I'm saying people who believe in reality,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm not political. I know people don't believe that. But if she's going to vote for the right candidate, even if that candidate is a Democrat, right? And you know, just recently when she talked about the vaccines, and I was like, see, that's who she really is. So I'll see.
Well, and for the first time in my life, like I got involved in this so young, I didn't have a chance to form my identity or be honest. Like I was so scared to be myself. And whenever I did videos or I did an interview or I would be so nervous and I'd be going over my talking points. And for the first time in my life, I feel like I can just talk and live and just be myself. And so that's been refreshing. But for people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think the litmus test is, are you still keeping secrets for these people?
Yes.
Because, okay, you can make amends. She could do a $50,000 donation to whatever organization tomorrow, but she's still keeping secrets for MAGA, for people in Congress. Spill it all. You need to make a material sacrifice and spill everything you know about even the people that are your friends, because they are a part of such great harm. And so for me, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm like, here's everything I know. I don't want to keep it anymore. I'm not keeping secrets for these people.
What do you think her motivation is for this pivot?
I'm not sure. I think she's probably angry, but I also like to steer away from that because so often, like with women, it's like, oh, a woman scorned. Okay, well, are they scorned with cause? Okay, like,
True.
I'm scorned with cause.
I do know that the rules are different for women. They're different for members of the LGBTQ community.
And they
They're
didn't
different
say
for
that
people of
about Joe
color.
Kent when he came out. They're not calling him a woman scorned. So I think it's okay to be motivated by hurt and anger. I think that's okay. Those are just as valid human emotions as any other human emotion. And so I think she's going through her own transformation, but I think people need to say, okay, what else do you know? Tell us everything. You were there for so long.
I'm going to throw out some names. What do you think of Benny Johnson?
Gay.
Say again?
Gay.
You think Benny Johnson is gay?
I
For
think
sure.
he has a lot of people who are really convinced they had gay experiences with him.
The people are convinced they had gay experiences with him?
I am going to leave it at that. I will link that video down below, but I just want to make some final notes in closing when they talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene, why she has deflected from the MAGA party, MAGA movement, MAGA cult, whatever it is that you want to call it. There are people who get involved with something with the ill intent to accomplish a vision, okay? We all understand the vision of the MAGA cult is white supremacy. That's what it is. How they incorporate other people, like this young black guy who was in this live yesterday, which was insane what he said. Like I was in the middle of doing my hair and I literally like almost dropped my hair dryer when I heard him say that. What is wrong with you? What is wrong is the slow indoctrination of people, constantly telling them something until they don't question it anymore and they just believe it. And I think in Ashley St. Clair's case, I'm just going to say this out loud. For her, it wasn't a matter of believing it. I don't think she ever believed in anything that she was saying. She needed to make money and she was the right skin color. She saw the opportunity and she took advantage of that opportunity until she couldn't anymore, until she realized people were getting hurt from this. They were getting hurt financially. They were probably going to jail because of things that she was saying. She saw a direct attack against people who did not deserve to be attacked. That's what she was seeing. And I'm just making a speculation. I don't know. I would love to ask her. I would love to interview her myself and ask her these questions and see how she would respond to it. But that's my own personal belief system. Do I view her as a hero? Absolutely not. She's not a hero for me. She is going through a process of deconstruction is what she's doing. She's going through a process of restitution. How can I fix this? You cannot fix the past. You can't go back and say, I'm going to take this back. You can only fix the present. How can you do that moving forward? Is by finding ways to make restitution, to continue with the deconstruction journey, to make amends wherever possible, even if it's direct or indirectly. The journey continues. It doesn't end. And going back to the whole Marjorie Taylor Greene thing, we don't know why she's not spilling everything. We don't know what's going on her end. We have heard so many people, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Joe Rogan. He's another one. But he also doesn't care because you see, it's about the money for him, in my own personal opinion. It is, the money is too good to let go. And for some people, when they realize that it's either about the money or the struggle, they are going to pick the money all of the time. For Ashley St. Clair, it didn't become about the money anymore. It became about her ethics and her morals and how can I be a better person? I'm going back to school. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to get a degree and I'm going to find ways to help people as much as I can. And that's the way we make restitution. Not necessarily in that order, but we find ways to be better human beings. And it's just unfortunate. There are many of people in this MAGA cult, they don't want to be better people. And unfortunately, they will pass away being remembered as just a hateful human being. And that's very sad. So with all that being said, this is Maribel Blue signing off. As always, remember, be good to yourself, be good to each other. And most importantly, take care of you. Bye, everybody.